At Quahog Honda and Subarus, we got Hondas and Subarus. Hey young world, I am Reese, the beautiful black beast of the Southeast. I'm joined here today with my brother,
Marvel.
Yeah. And we're bringing you another episode of Maurice and Marvin Reviews for you. That's right. Alright, we recently got back from watching the third installment of the Bad Boys series, Bad Boys for Life. So we're back here to review it, analyze it, and just talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it.
I'm really excited about this one because it was the best movie, well, so far it's the best movie of 2020. 2020, that's what year? Yeah. I mean, it's been, what, did you say 17 years since the last?
17 years.
Not from the original one.
From the second one, 2003.
17, the second one, the sequel came out in 2003?
2003.
It's been that long.
And the original one came out in 1995.
Oh, holy crap. So that's 25 years ago. Jesus Christ.
A long time.
They really took their time with this one. 17 years since the sequel. Wow, that's crazy. I've heard interviews with Will Smith himself, and he was saying that, you know, he wasn't going to go back for the trilogy and do a third until they got the script right, man. He believed in the project and he wanted a quality material to work with. If you ask me, I'd say it's well worth the wait because this one turned out really well.
Well, like you said, it was very enjoyable. I mean, these guys are two veteran actors, and to see them back on the screen doing their thing after such a long time, it was real refreshing. Anybody who's a fan of the franchise, I mean, it initially came out when, I was in high school, I was a teenager, and why they spaced them out so far, I have no idea, but it was really good seeing them back on screen together. Their chemistry is just, they work so well together, they feed off each other. And it seemed like they kept the same energy all three movies, and it was a fun ride. It was really good.
It's 25 years in the making, and I think you can a bit of that showed in some of the acting with some of its vets like Martin and Will Smith. They had emotional scenes in this one. There was a scene where Will Smith had been hurt. He had been hurt physically, and it affected him mentally, and he felt that, you know, he needed to win after that. He felt that he took a loss and he needed revenge. He needed to take a win after that. So he came to he came to Martin Lawrence's character, and he was asking for help, and it was just an emotional scene between the two of them. They executed it like the pros they are. They were amazing in that scene, and I could appreciate that. It's like you can't get that with some of these. I don't want to say, because there's strong things about youth and experience in this movie, but you can't get a scene like that from some of the less experienced actors out here in Hollywood. I think they handled that masterfully.
I like the way the movie was shot. The first two movies were directed by Michael Bay. This one was not. They had, I think, a duo of directors. But he kept the style and a lot of it was very reminiscent of his style. They kept that the same, the rotating camera. They didn't do as much explosions, but a lot of the shot selection was reminiscent of the first two movies, and I saw that, especially with the rotating camera. They did that shot where they always have them side by side and they rotate the camera. They did that a couple times. I was like, well, they stole that from Bay. They're gonna keep that the same.
It's funny, but Bay had a cameo in the movie.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah, he even had a little short cameo, which I thought was pretty neat. I thought that was funny. It was little things about that movie that really made it good for me myself. I also like you were saying about the teamwork, the youth and the old, the youth and the mature. And I thought even some of the action scenes, they played on that because they did some funky stuff like with droids and drones and stuff like that, but then I felt like they brought back some of that older action stuff where you flipping over tables and hiding behind it and you rolling the table, and that reminded me of some of the older action scenes they did a mixture of old action choreography with new tech action, and I that really blew me away a little bit how they did that, and I thought that just added to the whole young guys, old guys thing they had going on.
Like Marvin saying, Michael Bay directed the first two movies, and so I don't know what kind of involvement he had with this one other than the cameo, but the style was very reminiscent of his directing style, but I don't know, cinematically it was very well done, and I believe that anything dealing with Will Smith, it's going to be a top-notch production from this point on in his career. I mean, it was the shots were beautiful and amazing, and it's just, I don't know, this is just movie making at its finest.
It was. It's like, it was a lot more streamlined and more cohesive than what normally you would imagine, and I don't want to bash on Bay too much. A lot of his projects are like all over the place and explosions, but it seemed a lot more calm and a lot more streamlined, a lot more linear. It just was a better flow to it. Everything made sense. The action made sense. It was nothing over, just overcomplicated or just ridiculous. It was all seemed, like it could happen. It was all realistic. Most of the shootouts and most of even the places where they had shootouts, most of it made sense to me, and I felt that it felt for a more realistic experience.
I wonder who was involved in the writing of this film, because
it was like 4 writers when I looked. It was like 4 writers. I didn't look at the specific names or nothing, but I did saw like four names. Whoever wrote it, again, the writers and directors, I think they must have studied the first 2 films extensively, because there were a lot of callbacks to the first 2 movies. But it wasn't in a negative way. I thought some of it I wouldn't like, and then some of it was Martin Lawrence, the whole thing about retiring, things are getting old. It's like they were doing that before in the other movie, the previous movie. But it didn't really seem that nagging. Some of the jokes, even some of the characters from the first one. From the previous movie. For instance, the daughter, Martin Lawrence's daughter, and even her husband in this movie was the kid from part 2. That they came on the door. He came and knocked on the doorstep, and Will Smith and Martin was trying to punk the guy, but that ended up being her baby daddy and husband in this movie. And those little callbacks I thought was pretty interesting, and also helped with the continuity. But it's not like if you didn't see the previous ones, you couldn't get into this one, because I think even if you don't, which I'm sure the younger audience who might go and see this, they might not have seen the other 2. But you don't need to necessarily see this movie. It still stands out really well on its own. And even with that continuity, they still kept the comedy. I mean, these guys, they fed off each other. They still was the comedy. It still was the one-liners. It still was the action. So it was just, it really felt like a real sequel, a real genuine sequel.
Oh, they had a few callbacks to the previous 2 movies.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I remember, even in the cinematography, they might have used the same shot. It might have been the same clip they shot in the first movie. There's a scene where they went flying to Mexico, so they showed an airplane flying over a Miami sign. Mm-hmm. And I remember they used that same shot in the original movie.
Yeah.
They could have been the same exact one. So, I thought that was dope. I thought that was a dope way to pay homage to the previous movies in this trilogy.
As much as they followed and got the continuity right, there was a couple of things I didn't like. And for as much they did right and studied and continue on. 2 things I didn't like was, we got to see his daughter as an adult, but we didn't get to see his son as an adult. They totally left the kid out of the movie. Also, from the first 2 movies, the other 2 Latino guys that they used to bicker with, they weren't in here. They weren't in the movie, and I didn't like that. The guys were in the first movie. They argued and bickered with them. They was in the second movie, even though they changed the actors. They argued and bickered with them. They weren't in this movie at all, and I was like,
Well, 25 years, they gotta leave somebody behind. Everybody can't come along for the ride.
And then there was one I felt unnecessary death in the movie, but you know, I'll let y'all see that, figure it out.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't necessarily feel that these deaths were unnecessary. It's the trilogy. You go hard or go home. This movie gave you more bang for your buck. There has to be stakes. You don't want to see a movie where there are no consequences, there are no stakes. Everybody just makes it out where unscathed. You know, there has to be casualties on both sides of the field. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is how we felt about Bad Boys for Life. If I had to rate this movie, I'm gonna go ahead and rate it 4.5 out of 5 Maurice heads. I enjoyed it immensely. Very well done, well directed, great writing. The actors did a phenomenal job. It was a beautiful movie. I was choked up in the movie. They did a great job in every aspect of it.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It was really, really good, but I don't know if I had that same. It hit me the same way. I really wasn't choked up, but I thought it was a damn good movie. I'm gonna say a 4. 4 Marvin heads. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Trust me. I really did like it. I was laughing hysterically. Martin Lawrence, he was hilarious. I thought the story was, to me, it was kind of but you know. So I'm gonna say 4 Marvin heads.
Great movie. I think everybody should go and see it. Best movie of 2020.
Yeah.
However short that is. But I mean, actually the month is already over half a month into 2020. So man, time just be flying.
Flying by.
All right, everybody. Hey, be good to everybody out there. We love you out there in the world, and don't let your distractions hinder your actions. Be safe, everybody. Peace.
Bad boys.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? It's next and no, the next makes no snap. That's something what Martin does.